about to head into my first meeting ever with Facebook. I used to report directly to New Zealand. The call center there, they're not actually direct employees of Facebook. So now I've been invited down to Melbourne to one of their new Facebook offices where they look after the top 10 clients in Australia. My account manager has just actually arrived from Singapore, so it's going to be a very important meeting. Very excited to go into the plans of what I've got in the next 12 months, and excited that you can hear as well. Finished the meeting with Facebook, got myself some a goodies pack. Meeting went really well actually. It was very interesting just to really plan and talk over the next 12 months about what we want to achieve as a brand and as a business, and also understanding, I guess, how Facebook is making changes with their new community and just how, I guess, e-commerce and digital media is moving forward all together, and how to scale a brand or how to scale a company and how to grow with this growing trend of online e-commerce that's forever evolving at such a fast pace. So it's been an amazing experience. Andy and I went for a walk around the Facebook office. Really, really cool. One of the most actually top, really high security though. So we weren't actually able to shoot too much content, which was a bit of a shame because I wanted to show you as much as I could. However, just the security and it's just nothing that I've seen before. So anyway, it went really good, and thanks for coming. What is up? My name is Marty Cornish. I am the CEO and founder of a company called Ambition Media, which also owns a streetwear fashion brand called Made Status. We're in the e-commerce space. Our brand, or my brand that we started, is all about inspiring the dream chasers to chase down the best version of themselves. I started with one design, 15 shirts and a vision. We now ship products all over the world, and it's been a long road, but it's definitely been very rewarding to this date. Today, just down in Melbourne, it's beautiful. Actually, it's not too bad for a winter's day. Down here having a meeting with Facebook. Actually, this is the first time that I've come down and been invited by Facebook to have a meeting. So today we discussed, we went over the last quarter, I guess what a lot of the challenges that we've been facing in business are, or in our marketing strategy with Facebook. And then we're going over in depth about what it is we want to achieve in the next quarter and the next 12 months. So, it's been really interesting to go into their facility and have a look around. It's very high security, very top security, that one of the places I've been to, but really interesting to see the culture of how they treat their staff, and just the way the office is set up, and the vibe of the place. It's really quite interesting. And then we're just about to do a bit of I also run a Dream Chasers group for a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs. Like myself, I'm still aspiring and still working every day. And we're going to do a bit of a meet-up in Melbourne in the next kind of couple hours or so. So that should be really good. Hang out with a couple of the guys, meet them for the first time. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm heading back out and back home tomorrow, and back on the grind, back to it. It's been a crazy week, I tell you. It's been the last 4 weeks has been challenging. That's for sure. That's the way I like to put it. It's funny in entrepreneurship. We often, people think success, or they can think success is just this straight line. But I'm sure, as you know, that with life and business or sport or anything, it tends to go the ups and downs. And as you try and demand more of yourself, or try and pursue bigger goals and grow as a person or grow as a company, that becomes a new level of challenges, a new level of stress, a new level of adversity or criticism comes with that. And that's why I speak so much about the mental game behind entrepreneurship. Because I realized when your mind or your mindset's not in the right place, how ineffective you are then in the workplace, how ineffective you are then as a leader to lead your team. Because if you're emotionally and your mind is just running all over the place and thinking about what this person said about you and what's going on here, and then you've got your team looking to you for answers, because when everything else goes wrong and they're looking to you, you're the one that's got to be calm, or you can be human, obviously show emotion, but you're the one that's got to make the decisions, and they're looking to you for that. And that's where I love, I'm so much inspired about the journey of leadership, about what it takes to be great, and something that I work on daily, and something that I'm going to pursue for the rest of my life, and I find very fulfilling. Man, that's a good question. Puff Daddy, man, I'd have to say Puff. That guy, he started off as I admire him. I started off as a similar journey to him. My journey is still going every day, of course, as his journey is. I started off with a paper route. When I was in grade 7, my grandfather and I would deliver paper each day. I think we got about 5 cents per paper. And he talks about that story, and I've just, to get to where I am, and I'm not saying I'm anywhere fucking special, believe that, I'm definitely not. But to get to where this is right now, it's been a long road for me. It's been a lot of challenges, it feels long, but maybe it's been a long day. But I really believe that when you've got that drive, regardless of what education you've got, regardless of how much money's in your bank, regardless of whatever's in your way, when you've got that drive, and when you understand why it is that you're going after this, or what it is that you want, you can really, and I don't mean this in a cliche way at all. I'm not fucking some self-help guru or anything like that. I'm just a guy that's chasing his dreams as well. But if you truly want something, if you really have got that drive and that hunger, then I believe that the opportunities for you and me are limitless. I've gone from $0, I've started my company, we've turned over, we've grown by over 300% in the last 12 months, we've done over $1.1 million in the last 12 months. I started from $0. I started with 15 shirts, one design, and a dream and a vision. I was in the army for 4 years, saved up the first $6,000. I come from a single parent home. My mum had me at 16. My dad hasn't been in the picture my whole life. I met him for the first time when I was 17. I failed school with D's and E's. My English is still very, very poor. My maths is still very, very poor. But to get to this point, all it's been is just that willingness and that drive and that hunger, and even just spending some time recently. My mum came down recently because I've gone in business. We've gone through some of our decent biggest challenges in the last 4 weeks, and I went and spent some time. My mum came and spent some time with me, and that's what I remembered what it was all about. We can often get caught up focusing on what everybody else's opinion is, and we start to focus so much about what everybody else thinks about our dreams. And then when my mum came down, and just to see her, she's still just working her ass off, working a night shift, and I just thought to myself, what, man, you're kidding yourself. You've got so much work to do, man. You've got to, and it just gave me that hunger again. It gave me that, not that I didn't have it before, but that really deep sense, that really, really deep level. And I actually redid my vision board. I recently, after 3 or 4 years, I've redid my vision board. And it's funny, who I put on there was, so I've got Kevin Durant. So I've been lucky enough, my team and I have worked extremely hard over the last 4 years. In particular, the team I'm with now, we've been working really hard together for 2 years. We've just got to the point now where Shopify is about to publish a story on us, and they want to get, and Shopify's got a special artist in that's going to be using a timeline from like when I was hanging out with my mum when she was 16, when I was getting in trouble at school, when I started my sales career, when I was in the army, and they're doing a timeline. And the artist he did the same piece of work for ESPN for Kevin Durant. And then I'm not really a Golden State Warriors fan, but I started really looking into this guy's story. I'm far out. Like, this artist that's doing this thing on me has done a piece on Kevin Durant. I was like, fuck it. It really blew me away. And I've been watching so many documentaries on him lately, and you know how much hate he got from when he left Oklahoma and went to Golden State. And just such an inspiring guy, you know, and such a humble kind of just chilled dude. And then I've been getting a lot into sports psychology and peak performance. I'm really interested, and I'm really fascinated by what it takes, for example, for a Fortune 500 CEO, or it would be another good example, an elite athlete, a LeBron James, a Kevin Durant, a Fortune 500 CEO, tapping into the mindset and the skill set of how they operate mentally, how they control their thoughts to not focus on the negative. I've been listening to this really interesting sports psychologist and peak performance coach, and he was the guy that was the guy who did the Red Bull spacecraft jump. I believe the gentleman's name is Felix, and he got to he was going after the record, and that's when they brought in Michael, the psychologist, when Felix was running into pretty much Red Bull and invested all this money into the program, and when Felix started having some internal conversations with himself, with some self-doubt, and that's when Michael came in, Dr. Michael, and he just talked about the whole process, about what it took to achieve that greatness. Well, see, the thing is it's a very broad word, successful entrepreneur, because I've recently just come through a very challenging period in business, which it's still not over yet. And my journey is still, I'm still very, very new. I'm very early into the grind still in the grand scheme of things. Like, you think Colonel Sanders started KFC when he was 65, Gary Vee's 42, Grant Cardone's 59, no disrespect to any of them, but the game is a long one. Even though 12 months ago or 18 months ago I was very much about trying to make every day count. Not that I don't do that now, but I tend to try and work more smarter. For example, I don't work for 20 hours a day now. I may work for 14 or 15, and I make sure I go to the gym. I make sure I eat clean. So it's about being smarter, and then also having a break every hour or so. Being mindful, because when you're just putting your mind, because we've got so much technology and so much information coming in, gone are the days of the Stone Age when it used to be the fight or flight from the saber-toothed tiger. Now our biggest problem is giving us stuff or caring what people think about us. We've got so much technology coming in. The hardest thing, I believe, or one of them, is to remain focused and to stop the negative self-talk in the tough times. Because that's, you can either be your best friend or you can either be your worst enemy. There's enough people out here that will criticize you and bring you down and will not like you just for no particular reason. But that's not your problem. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is for you to reach. Well, I believe my responsibility is for me to reach my full potential and provide for my family and provide and create something of substance. Create a business that gives back. I don't want to sound. There's so much content out there on the internet. And people can answer so many questions in so many different ways, but from my research and from my personal experience to today, the three main things is we listened, we spent so much time focusing and listening to other people's opinions about what we should do. We don't trust in ourselves. We don't back ourselves enough. And, because you're taking in other people's opinion, and let's be true, we're always growing and learning as humans. No one really ever knows himself 100% completely. We're always evolving. So no one's ever going to know you better than you know yourself. So if you're listening to everybody else, and I'm not saying you don't have a peer group that you don't take advice from, but I'm just very, I'm tending now leaning towards of backing myself. Even if I fail or I make a mistake or fuck up like I have been, at least I learn the hard way. And at least I know, okay, let's do a 180. That decision get that result. Let's make a different decision. And that's that's what I'm starting to do now is, okay, that decision gets that result. I don't want that result again. Let's make a different decision. So the three things that stop people and I from personal experience to date, and I'm not a life coach, I'm just somebody that's on his own personal journey and would like to, if that would help somebody, I'm more than happy to share that. It would be, we spend so much time thinking about what everybody else thinks about our dreams. We spend so much time focusing on other people's opinions, and that's coming back from, the fight or flight days, where the number one thing that stops us is people's opinions. We care so much time focusing on that. And then, from that, the cause and effect is the negative self-talk. If you talk to yourself, or you talk to yourself that you don't believe in yourself, that that if you say that you're a loser, if you say that fuck, they are right, and that voice, that internal dialogue is just, it's so powerful. And the third thing that I think stops people, I feel like it would be, I can just speak from personal experience. I've been in business 4 years and my journey has just started. I get that. I'm not saying that I'm anybody fucking special. I'm just speaking about a guy that's been in business 4 years. I was in the army for 4 years before that. Been in sales and marketing, corporate jobs before that. But people, I believe, give up. We give up too soon. I felt like giving up fucking recently. But we tend to give up too soon, even though when it sometimes seems like there's no way out, and it seems like there's no other option, and it seems like that's the most fucking normal decision to make, would be to, okay, fucking let's pack it in, let's hang up the boots. But the only difference is with really successful people who I look up to is they still haven't given up. Because I was once told a quote. It was, "You've only ever failed once you decide to quit." And that's something that as long as as long as your heart's still beating, as long as is your heart still beating, you're still in the game. You're only ever out when you count yourself out. Walt Disney, Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk. There's been so many people there. The Edison. Thomas Edison, the Wright brothers. So many people have gone before us and shown us that what can be done. So yeah, I tell you though, man, that door to door, it was just it taught me some fundamental skills though. Like, it was so funny because we knew on average if we knocked on 100 doors, because it was commission only, right? Yeah. And in the ideal day we could make $100 a day, 150. Yeah. And we're trying to convince people to come from Telstra to AEBT. But it was so funny, man. But the key was, if you knocked on 90 houses, is to try and keep, because your pitch is pretty much the same the whole time, right? But you might not get any sales until the 90th door. And by then you've been on the field since 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. at night. We could knock until I think 8:30 or 9 p.m. But to maintain that positive attitude all the way through, because sometimes you get free sales right at the end, like free conversions right at the end. Yeah. But if your vibe was down or your attitude's down,
people can pick it up really easily.
Yeah. Because we have to do a special knock, we do, Yeah. That cold calling, man, when you're knocking on someone's door that's the grind, hey? Yeah.